I'm Nigel here with the DriveWire, and this is the 2022 Cadillac CT5-V Blackwing. And if you want a rear-wheel drive V8 powered car with a stick shift, then go get one before this one disappears and everything becomes electric, because Cadillac and probably every other manufacturer will never build another car like this. There are a couple of negatives, kind of. Nowhere on this car is a badge that says it's a Blackwing, so it is a little bit difficult for the average person to know that this is a Blackwing and not a CT5-V. Well, one thing, for example, is it doesn't have the Blackwing engine, which was the 4.2-litre twin-turbo V8 that was reserved only for the Cadillac CT6. It does, however, have a sort of Blackwing on the rear trunk lid. This is actually carbon fiber. It's part of the Carbon Fiber 1 package that this car has. $4,100 extra. Now, there are some differentiating factors at the back. It has these really unique quad tailpipes, look really cool, and then this slightly lower diffuser, and then the tail lights are tinted. But the biggest giveaway, if you're following one of these, and you probably will be only following one of these, you're not going to see one of these much in your rearview mirror, is these massive rear tires. So Cadillac fits the rear 19-inch rims with these 305/30s. They're ZR rated Michelin Pilot 4S's with a special compound from the Cup 2 tires. And these rims are really nice too. They've got this V emblazoned right there. And then the brakes on the back are 14.6-inch rotors. They're huge with these 4-piston calipers. And then on the front, you get smaller tires. These are only 275/35s, same 19-inch rims, obviously. Now, these rotors are 15.7 inches. They're huge with 6-piston calipers, and they work really well. Now, you can get the carbon ceramic brakes. They're $9,000. If you take it on a track, it might be money well spent. I'll be honest, these tires are so big, it really looks like this car has just escaped from the racetrack. So the Blackwing is fitted with Cadillac's latest and greatest magnetic ride system, and it's able to react over 1,000 times a second to various different inputs, and it works really well. So at the front you get a slightly larger mesh grille. It's got bigger holes in it, and hence the more air intake possibilities right there. You got this front splitter, again part of the carbon fiber option pack, with some additional vents in the side here as well as in the bottom section, all to provide as much cooling as this car can get. It certainly needs it. So from the side, it is difficult to tell this over a regular CT5-V, except for these enormous wheels and some of this aero kit that this one has on it. And if you drive it in tour mode, it's super relaxing, but it carries a very big stick, and that's under that hood. So here it is. It's a pushrod V8 with a 1.7-litre Eaton supercharger right on the top. As you can see, it's got 668 horsepower at 6,500 RPM, 659 pound-feet of torque. Kicks in around 3,600 RPM, but it's just a boatload of torque for this car. It's driven through, obviously, a 6-speed transmission, and you can get an optional 10-speed if you wish. I wouldn't. Save your money. Maybe buy the carbon ceramic brakes instead. The 6-speed is a joy. We'll drive it pretty soon. I'll show you how it goes. This is a magnificent piece of engineering. This car weighs in around 4,123 pounds, so it's some 445 pounds lighter than a Charger Hellcat, which has more power. But what that means is this one has the better power to weight ratio. And as we probably already know, this thing handles better than a Charger. Sorry, Charger fans. So your neighbors are probably going to hate you when you drive away in race mode. It's a 4-step variable exhaust system. It goes from noisy to obnoxious in a millisecond, and it scares small children. Let me start it up and see what it sounds like. that sounded absolutely epic. Wow, such a huge improvement over the CTS-V. That was its biggest complaint, really. It didn't make noise. Well, it did make a noise, but it sounded like a vacuum cleaner. This is unbelievably good. So it's probably a given that you are not going to spend a lot of time in the back seat of this car, especially if I'm driving or anybody else that you know that drives full bore. Back of the seats, you'll notice this is part of the carbon fiber package. They have these hard carbon fiber backs to them. That seat's a little bit further forward because I got to operate a clutch pedal. Biting point's quite low down on this car, but given that, these seats are really quite comfortable. They're sort of slanted back enough that it gives you some headroom. Nice Alcantara lining here. Obviously vents and some power in the back as well. One thing that is missing, which is probably recommended, are some Cadillac branded vomit bags, kind of like the ones you get on a plane, because seriously not a good idea to be a backseat passenger when you're balls out in this thing. All right, so in the front, it's all business. Beautiful steering wheel. You got the red marker at the top there to show you which way's up. In case you forget, beautiful steering wheel, controls on it, everything is in the right place. The Cadillac system is actually pretty good. It's pretty fast, it's pretty intuitive, it's super easy to use. It is a touchscreen. Then you've got volume controls here. You've also got a way to scroll through the different menus to choose them, and then a home button. But the place that you're going to be is in settings, over to vehicle, and then drive mode customization. So my mode allows you to kind of configure the engine sound, the suspension, the brake feel, steering, etc. But the one that you really want to configure is V mode, which is controlled by the large button with a V on it on the left-hand side of the steering wheel. So you can see you can play around with engine sound, steering, suspension, engine shift, brake feel. I've got them all maxed out except for PTM. That's the Performance Traction Management System. So you can change that if you want. You can also use this physical mode button here down by the gear selector. You can scroll through that, and then in the main dash it shows you my mode, snow, ice, track, etc. Also in V mode you can also configure the performance traction management using a button on the right hand side of the steering wheel. I can go wet, it gives you a warning every time. I can go into dry, I can go into sport, I can go into race 1, and I can go into race 2. Race 2 is the loosest configuration. It always warns you that some of the traction control systems, etc. will be limited or disabled. Okay, in the center console you've got your usual HVAC controls, all physical buttons. You've got a nice big sized Wi-Fi charger right there, stick, and then there's that mode button I explained before, traction control off. Rev match, that's always a good one to check as well. A little bit of storage space in here, and then 2 cup holders. However, it's best to use a small one because otherwise it gets in the way of your shifting arm. This is a small little Japanese Kinto container. It's about as big as you're going to be able to get, and it doesn't work there. It interferes with your shifting, so it's best to put it right there. Good quality materials throughout. There's some carbon fiber right here, looks pretty cool and sporty. Also got a little bit of storage space in here, very tiny bit, a couple of USBs, one fast, one regular, and then a 12 volt as well. All right, well, let's do some driving. Acceleration to pass other traffic. There's nothing you can't get past in this thing. It's a lot of fun. Maybe a little too fast for public roads. I mean, it's a 4-door sedan, so it sort of masks its speed. It's not like a McLaren or Ferrari or something that's like hunkered down where you feel the speed more and then you sort of realize, oh shit, I'm going into a corner too fast. This, you got to look at the speedo. It does have a head-up display, which is helpful. Although I still haven't got used to looking at those. I'm hopping in and out of different cars. Some do, some don't. This one has it, but I forget to look up, so I always look down to see what my speed is. really good launch. Cadillac say this will do 0 to 60 in 3.6 seconds. Believable. Its best performance is once you have traction set. Literally anything above 40 miles an hour, and this thing is a rocket ship, all the way up to a claimed 200 mile an hour plus speed limit, assuming you have the aero kit, etc. on this car. So a little delicate with the takeoff in first gear, and then once you get into second, you can mash that pedal. Bit of traction control on there. Just got to be careful about putting too much in it. Oh my God! Pushes your head back onto the seat. This is amazing. And the exhaust sounds epic from the outside. Jesus, even uphill it pulls like a train. Cornering is superb. The balance, the control. Absolutely launches you to the next bend. Let's do a down change to third here. We're doing like 4,500 RPM. You can hear that supercharger whining. Got to keep a firm grip on this wheel. Chassis is superb. It doesn't feel quite as nimble or as agile as the CT5-V Blackwing. I think for the sake of my health, I might have to get one of those instead, because this is just insanely quick for a four-door sedan. Absolutely scythes through these corners. And it makes that beautiful burbly noise in the lower rev range. And then it revs high too, 6,500 RPM. This thing will rev, which is pretty good for a V8. And then the thing that you don't get is any lag whatsoever. Brain, foot, go. I mean, it's a supercharger, so it's pretty much always on. Oh my God. It changes direction so well. These tight, twisty corners. You can go decently fast in trailing throttle and then just boot it out. Finally, Cadillac has beaten the Germans at their own game. This is it. This is the best sports sedan ever. And what a machine. Oh my goodness. The fact that you can carry, 5 passengers. Actually, an M5 only has 4 seats from what I remember. The competition, I'm sure the regular M5 does, but I think it only has 4 actual seats. The middle is not a real seat. This seat's 5. Again, as I mentioned earlier, not that you'd want to be a backseat passenger in this car. Yeah, once you have traction in this car, it is nothing short of ferocious. It's absolutely savage, but really controllable. And it's not out of control like the original Viper was that, you know, just got crashed all the time. This thing is marvelous, brilliant. All right, let's do a quick launch. All right, let's see if we don't spin out too much. Wow. I got to the first corner a little faster than I had envisaged there and had to stomp on the brakes a little bit, but there was a little bit of wheel spin because in that side area that I was at, there's a little bit of loose gravel, but it hooked up pretty well. All right, so what do we think? Well, this car is a beast, and I love it. Of its competitors, Audi, Mercedes, BMW, this is by far the better car, in my opinion. Why? Because it comes with a stick shift. It's the least expensive. It's the most powerful. It's the lightest. It'll pull 1.01 Gs on the skid pan. This car was developed by people who have an absolute passion for cars. Dynamically, it is near perfection. Steering, brakes, weighting, suspension, engine, the whole combo. It's unbelievable. It's a love letter to the internal combustion engine, and I thank Cadillac for producing this car. It's such a shame that it's the last one, but we have to have a last one of most things, so let's embrace EVs, and this one will go down in history, I can tell you. Great, thanks for watching, appreciate it. As always, like, subscribe, and let me know what you think. If anyone has one, gosh, you're the luckiest person in the world. I'll see you next time. Out.